Let's start off with CJ May, 6'4", 225-pound, 4-star edge from Highland Home, Alabama. He took an official visit to Syracuse this past weekend. May said that he will drop his top 4 schools on June 24th, so that's only 4 days from now. Expect Syracuse to make the cut for the top 4. This is why I'm saying they're not out of it. If you're making the top 4, you can land the guy. You're not out by any means. You might have to chase, but you're not out. Syracuse is expected, having just gotten a recent official visit, that they will make the top 4 for CJ May. He does have a decision date as well, which is set for July 13th. May was originally committed to Notre Dame, but he decommitted from them in February. Don't think that Notre Dame is in the hunt for CJ May anymore. He is crystal ball to go to, I want to say, Ole Miss. Yes. CJ May is predicted to go to Ole Miss. So that is it for CJ May. I already gave the disclaimer about the crystal ball. Anyways, let's move on to Tyler Williams, a 6'1", 195-pound composite 4-star wide receiver from Seffner, Florida. He took an official visit to Syracuse this past weekend, and Williams has said that Syracuse is one of the main options he's considering, those other schools being Georgia, Miami, Alabama, and UCF. Thanks to this staff and building relationships, as I just said, Syracuse is now getting a seat at the table. They're at least getting guys to listen to them, unlike past years where they would have no shot for a player like Tyler Williams when these other schools are going after him. A 4-star recruit being recruited by Georgia, Miami, forget it. Now Syracuse actually has a chance thanks to this staff. Interesting story for you. Apparently, he ran into his idol, Julio Jones, at the airport on his way to Syracuse. Julio Jones, as I just mentioned, is his idol. And they went over film together. They talked about the recruitment process. Julio Jones was one of the best recruits in the country coming out of high school. Of course, he ended up panning out. For what it's worth, he went to Alabama. So maybe there was a little bit of an Alabama connection. We know that Alabama recently offered this kid. Who knows? I just thought it was an interesting story that he ran into Julio Jones at an airport. Good to know on that. So let's continue the discussion of players who could be on the way for Syracuse. A stud quarterback. How about Malik Washington? You guys might be familiar with him. I've mentioned him maybe a couple times here on this podcast when I've had Brian Smith on. He is a 6'4", 200-pound quarterback from Severn, Maryland. He is described as an athletic pocket passer, and he recently took an official visit to Syracuse. He also plays basketball in high school, hence why he is a good athlete. He is the second best quarterback in the country right now that has not committed to a school. Second best. Hey, it'd be nice to get this kid. That's all I'm saying. Now, there is a lot of buzz with him going to Maryland. He is crystal ball to go there. I believe he is officially visiting them tomorrow. There is no commitment date scheduled for Malik Washington, but just be on the lookout. If he commits a day after, I'd expect it would be Maryland. But the longer it drags on, that's when you may see Syracuse really start to assert itself in the race for Malik Washington. I believe another school that's after him is Virginia Tech. So in terms of what I'm rooting for, if it's not Syracuse, probably would prefer him to go to Maryland just so that we don't have to deal with him in the ACC. Obviously, I wish the kid nothing but the best, and I want him to make the decision that is best for himself. But as a fan, I don't want him in the ACC if he's not coming to Syracuse. I think that's pretty reasonable. Moving on to Dawayne Galloway, 6', 175-pound, 4-star cornerback from Columbus, Ohio. He took an official visit to Syracuse this past weekend. He does have a decision date in mind, and that is for July 5th, so a couple weeks from now. He would be the best recruit in Syracuse's 2025 class. He would be. He is a consensus top 50 prospect in the country. Rivals has him as high as 112, and I believe the lowest is 204. I know I said top 50. That's just a nice round number. I wish I could say top 200, but the lowest is 204. Sorry. But yeah, this would be a big time recruit for Syracuse. There is a crystal ball prediction for him to go to Purdue. So that is also the Big Ten. Who knows? Maybe Syracuse, with storing that official visit, can land this kid. I would be surprised of these four, CJ May, Tyler Williams, Malik Washington, and Dawayne Galloway. I would be surprised if Syracuse couldn't land at least one of them. Just because, not that I would be let down, but this staff has done such an excellent job with recruiting. It feels like they do have a legitimate chance to get these guys. Not saying they're going to get all four. I would just be surprised if they can't land at least one, having gotten them all on official visits.